Why Wilson separated politics from administration? No. What we were talking? Complementarity. Okay. So we were talking about complementarity. This model. So first he said reciprocal. Then so Swara model means he tries to explain relationship between politics and administration, that it is not only about reciprocal relationship. We explain that what we mean by reciprocal relationship. So they have a reciprocal relation, politics and administration. They both influence each other. This means politics cannot operate in vacuum, and similarly administration cannot also operate in vacuum. Politics gives direction, political direction, and administration should receive it. Similarly, politics should respond to the problems and challenges of administration. So, like reforms are brought, government takes up reforms, administrative reforms. Grievance redressal also will find that there is grievance redressal, administrative grievance redressal. So if administration problems are not solved, if administration capacity is not built, that is administrative capacity building, merely making promises will not result into implementation. You know that most of the institutions lack capacity. This gradually you will learn it. As of now, you may be thinking, everything is fine, isn't it? So CBI has also vacancies. You can apply if you want, although government will not recruit. Similarly, let's say that CAG has also vacancies. And high courts have also vacancies. These are some good institutions of the country, and they have vacancies. So forget about those institutions which are less important. Simply let's say that if you do not have adequate personnel, so what will happen? You need adequate workforce, isn't it? Unless we have adequate workforce, administration will not be able to implement policies effectively. Right? Simple, let's say law and order. Police has, responsibility of maintaining law and order, but police is highly inadequate institution. This you should know. It is half of its capacity. Given the nature of our country where people are ready to commit all types of offenses, it is half of the capacity, even less than that. And any incident happen, isn't it? Recently stampede happened in Bangalore. And it keeps happening, that again somewhere else will happen. Means I don't expect that it should happen, but you cannot stop happening this. And when people die in such a stampede, then hue and cry starts. Blame game starts for a few days. Thereafter, things will be normal because we are very resilient people. We move ahead. We forget the things. But these are all serious problems, and only those who are affected in that, those who have lost their life, for them it matters. For other people, it is a matter of few days of debate and discussion. Now you will transfer the police commissioner, right, as if he was responsible. This, in normal days, people don't follow law. You should know that. Even if police does not give permission, the event is organized. This is how, because we are above law. And when event goes like this, we blame the law enforcement agencies. This is how in our democracy, beauty of democracy. Anyhow, so these are very complex problems. The simple law and order cannot be, let's say, maintained unless police as an institution is having adequate capacity. Still it will not be able to maintain. Still there will be problem, as there are problems in other countries. They have good capacity, you know that. But still they have crimes. But the good thing is that if there is crime, they investigate and punish the person. Right. In our country, what we do, it takes 4 and 5 months to debate on the crime, why it happened, who was responsible. Thereafter, another incident comes, we forget about that. Anyhow, just to tell you that politics should be sensitive of administration problems and it should solve their problems. Otherwise, politics will blame administration one day, like say Bengaluru incident. And that is how it is. So without adequate capacity, so politics should respond to administration. Administration is responding to politics. उनके पास और कोई रास्ता नहीं है. So they have to respond to politics, bad way or good way. So that way we can consider. So that is how the relationship. So there is a complex relationship. There is mutual understanding relationship. It is not in written. Which Wilson was not explaining basically. When Wilson says that politics is about policy making and administration is about policy execution, it seems that he is giving a very simplistic explanation of the role. But there is unwritten relationship between them. That is mutual understanding. And that is how that mutual understanding is reciprocal relationship. Otherwise, policy cannot be implemented effectively. Government may go on promising so many things, but that cannot be implemented. That is what we can say. And since politics does not respond to the problems of administration, that's why you will find that administration has turned out indifferent, complacent, even corrupt also. So that way it can be. But they do not have only reciprocal relationship. We told that they have to be autonomous also. They should be given independence also. If they will not be given independence, you will not be able to work effectively. No, that's why you want to become IAS. इसलिए कि IAS सबका बाप होता है, isn't it? Anyhow, तो आप IRS नहीं बनना चाहते, आप और कोई सर्विस नहीं चाहिए, आपको सबसे पहले क्या चाहिए? IAS. क्यों? बिकॉज वो सबका बाप होता है, isn't it? आपके ऊपर कोई कंट्रोल नहीं होगा, डिस्ट्रिक्ट का सर्वे सर्वा आप है, आप अपनी विम्स एंड फैंसीज कर सकते हैं. नो, इसलिए तो आप IAS बनना चाहते हैं. ऑटोनॉमी. So you want to get autonomy. That's why you are attracted. आप autonomy ले लो, you will not prepare for this. But you don't want to give autonomy to others. Yes. Power is concentrated in one hand in district, that is called DM. And we love it like it. Anyhow. So, but let's say talk about autonomy. So you need autonomy. That's why you want to join IAS. This entrepreneurs are given autonomy, that is how in private sector, corporate sector, you want autonomy, let's say that. This autonomy remains an important demand in administration or governance. This. So they need to have autonomy also, that is how we can say. It means they will be separate also. Like administration should be neutral as well. Neutral to suna hoga aapne, isn't it? Neutrality, political neutrality. This, so you should be neutral, you should be impartial. This, so when we say neutral, so that is how it seems that ki Wilson was also talking that. Impartial, non-partisan, this. So he says ki you should be at the same time autonomous also, and that is called most appropriate explanation about relationship between politics and administration, because that is how their relations can be. This, and you know that ki politics administration work together. There are some examples where politics administration work together, especially local government. If you take 73rd, 74th Amendment, so there they work together, you know, that reciprocal relationship will find. MP lad scheme we have, which MP, Member of Parliament, is involved there. At local level, you know that Panchayati Raj institutions, elected institutions are working with administration. They work together. This, there is no separation, you know that. So you will find that Wilson will fail there. This, especially in Indian condition, when we see at local level how politics and administration work together. This, in urban areas, municipal commissioner has some special powers to take decisions. This, as per Municipal Corporation Act, which one day will teach you in urban governance. So municipal commissioner has been also given power to take decision. This, so they are not only executing decision, they can also take some decisions, and those powers are not given to elected bodies. This, so that also possible, you can say. So there are, let's say, policies which you will find that both participate. Similarly, you may have heard, let's say, Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana. So Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, let's say, Sansad means the member of parliament is involved in policy implementation. This, so politics is also involved in policy implementation, and administration is involved in policy formulation. They have reciprocal relation. At the same time, they should remain independent. It shows that they have very complex relation, right? But it does not completely reject Wilsonian hypothesis. Can we say this is rejection of Wilsonian hypothesis? No, it is not rejecting that. It is saying that there should be autonomous relationship. It does not say that the administration should become partisan, politicized. That Wilsonian thought has not been rejected. What has been rejected is that policy making and policy execution cannot be separated. First, both may not be necessarily two different activities. And next, administration does play a role in policy formulation. So these things can be considered, which Wilson somehow did not clearly explain. But we continue with the thought of Wilson that administration should be merit-based, non-political, neutral, impartial. So Wilson has not been completely rejected. That is how we have to summarize, right? So let's write on that. The complementarity model. The complementarity model explains a complex relationship between politics and administration. Politics and administration. That first, they have reciprocal relationship. Which means complementarity in their relation, complementarity in their relation. That first, within that first, politics also plays role in policy implementation. Politics also plays role in policy implementation. Policy implementation like MP lad scheme, Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana. Like MP lad scheme, Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana in India. Next, administration also plays role in policy making. Yes, administration also plays role in policy making. Policy making. Policy making. Through policy advice and think tank of government. Think tank of government. Like secretariats. 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 In fact, they have mutual understanding in the system of governance that first administration should be receptive to political directions of the government. Administration should be receptive to political directions of the government. Political directions of the government. Or expectations of the government, which is known as program commitment by Paul Appleby. Program commitment by Paul Appleby. That unless administration commits itself to the policy direction of the government, there cannot be effective policy execution. Same paragraph. Similarly, let's say politics rather. Similarly, politics should respond to expectations of administration. In terms of first, its institutional capacity building. Next, redressal of grievances. Next, incentivization of good performance. Good performance. That's why administrative reforms are taken up. That's why administrative reforms are taken up. And there is also reward system. Reward system in bracket. Young civil servants are rewarded on the occasion of Civil Service Day. Young civil servants are rewarded on the occasion of Civil Service Day. Civil Service Day. This next, let's say second, independent autonomous relationship. This discussion was part of reciprocal. Now we are talking this. Even if they have reciprocal relationships, still they are expected to remain autonomous in their own domains. That first, administration should not interfere in policy decisions of the government. Administration should not interfere in the policy decisions of the government. In bracket, generally there is lobby of bureaucracy. Which resists change. Yes. Next, politics should not interfere. In administrative activities. Like frequent posting transfers. And honest officers are penalized. By harsh posting. And corrupt officers are rewarded. By attractive posting. In bracket, ARC second report on ethics in governance. Next, even Prime Minister once remarked, politics should not interfere. Rather, it should intervene. Politics should not interfere, rather, it should intervene in affairs of administration. So that's why there is demand, change paragraph. That's why there is demand for giving autonomy to administration, giving autonomy to administration through stable tenure, and creation of stable tenure and creation of an independent institution for posting, transfer and promotion. Posting, transfer and promotion. In bracket. That institution is known as Civil Service Authority. Civil Service Authority. This in Rixian term, let's further write. In Rixian term, autonomous relationship between both is known as balance polity. Balance polity. So we'll deal all these things later on. You'll understand. If you are not understanding at this stage, you are understanding, it is good. By this you can know that it's a highly applied content even if you're talking in paper 1. This. So I guess it is clear the relationship that we are talking between politics and administration. This. So let's try that. The above explanation shows that politics and administration operate in a complex ecology. It is not as simple as visualized by Wilsonian concept of dichotomy. This Swara complementarity model has received recognition as the most comprehensive and acceptable explanation, most comprehensive and acceptable explanation about relationship between politics and administration. So that is what we can say, right? Let's question will write, does it mean Wilsonian idea of dichotomy Does it mean Wilsonian concept of dichotomy has been completely rejected? Has been completely rejected. Or next, or whether Wilson was misunderstood and whether Wilson was misunderstood by critics, by critics. Next question, whether Swara model accepts or rejects Wilsonian dichotomy. Whether Swara model accepts or rejects Wilsonian dichotomy. So what do you think? Can we completely reject this? Whether it is completely rejected? No. Not rejected. Then what rejected? What we reject? Right. So let's say that case separation or distinct activity. Second, policy making and policy implementation. Separate activity. What is accepted? This autonomous. Yes. That can also be written, right? So whether Wilson was misunderstood? Not misunderstood.
By Swara?
Not by Swara, by critics.
Yes, some critics.
When at one place he says they should be separate, at another place he says that they should not be separate. So it does not show now that he was vacillating, rather those who interpreted, they saw that he was vacillating. He may be explaining the complex relationship, but he may not have thought while writing that it could generate such level of intellectual debate. Every line of his essay would be scrutinized, isn't it? While writing, he may not have that. Suppose you write any article, by that time you may not have that expectation what let's say that he thinks it is going to create. That can also be benefit of doubt goes to Wilson. It seems that there was a bit of misunderstanding, misinterpretation Rigid division rejected, yes, rejection of this. Yes, because certainly let's say someone writing essay in 1887 and that time you cannot expect perfection. This, oh, a child cannot be expected to behave like father, that is how I say that. He was just trying to have a piece of writing on which you cannot expect that he is going to give a very clear relationship. That has taken, let's say, over more than 100 years to explain the relationship. You should know that. Because first 40 years it was dichotomy supported, next dichotomy rejected. It is just after rejection that then resurrection comes. Resurrection is that re-emergence of debate on dichotomy. It is a contemporary development. This, because you know that all those public policy thinkers, NPA, public choice approach, new public management, they all will reject dichotomy, which we'll talk when we'll take them. So they rejected. Then now you have these all developments. So we do not expect that Wilson that time can give you such a clear articulation. That is how we can say. To some extent, critics misunderstood the relationship between politics and administration, which he was trying to explain. And Swara model, recent developments strengthen his idea rather than reject his idea. This you should also know that. They will more strengthen his idea rather than reject. The strengthen is that this you cannot reject. Which he had the main purpose to explain this. If you take Rosenblum and Demock, they say that why Wilson was talking about dichotomy. So Wilson was talking about dichotomy because of that. So that is one aspect. Then Wilson says that administration should be under control of public opinion. He was talking about democratic control. Means he was talking that there should be link between administration and democracy. You should also know that when he was impressed by European administration efficiency, he did not want to simply, let's say, copy that. When he says that only we should incorporate the sharpness of the knife, not the intention of the murderer. The intention of the murderer is monarchical system of Europe. Sharpness of knife is efficiency of their administration. He wants to incorporate efficiency in administrative system. And then he told that administration should be guided by American ethos. You should know that. He was trying to see administration from American lens, means American societal lens, rather than European aspect. So those things also if you take, so he was even, let's say, he was also aware that we cannot completely separate, but this view was somehow taken as he was vacillating, he was not clear, he was vague in explanation of relationship. But now you know that it may not be because there is a complex relationship. So that is how we can talk on this aspect. So let's write few things on that. So this already written, I will not write on that aspect. Let's say that it seems that Wilson was misunderstood. It seems that Wilson was to some extent misunderstood by his critics, in bracket, era of rejection. In resurrection era, means re-emergence era, the explanation shows that first, Wilson may not have vacillation. Next, he may be aware about the complex relationship. Complex relationship. Change paragraph. He did not only give emphasis on. He did not only give emphasis on separation of administration from politics. Separation of administration from politics. From politics. Rather, he also talked about politics administration relationship. Politics administration relationships. When he remarked first, administration cannot be divorced from politics. Administration cannot be divorced from politics. Second, public opinion should exercise control on administration. Public opinion should exercise control on administration. Administration. Next, he wanted to keep administration. Within the bounds of saw administration from cultural lens. Cultural lens. Yes. Even he did not want to blindly imitate efficiency of European administration. Blindly imitate efficiency of European administration. Rather, efficiency should be subject to democratic ethos of US. Democratic ethos of US. So that is what we can say that. So then I think all question we answered. What is the next question? Yes, whether Swara model. Let's Swara model seems to be more strengthening. Wilsonian perspective on politics administration relationship. As it does not reject separate relationship between politics and administration. Separate relationship between politics and administration. politics and administration. That's all. So whether you are clear or you are confused on relationship between politics and administration.
That's good, Swara.
This. So hope that it gives you clarity. Nothing is black and white, you know that. We don't have things in yes and no. We have habit of knowing things in yes and no. Means either or, but things are not in either or. Things are somehow in, let's say, between either or. Right? Because we deal with subjective subject. So all humanities can be subjective. In that subjectivity, we try to bring objectivity. Isn't it? In subjectivity, we are trying to bring objectivity. Still, we don't understand human behavior. All advancements have happened. All advancements have happened. Still, there are advancements coming up. But still, we don't understand human behavior. Still, we cannot predict human behavior. All humanities are trying to predict human behavior. The way pure science predict physical objects, isn't it? The pure science, they predict largely physical objects, and humanities, they predict human behavior. But still human behavior is not predictable. If human behavior is predictable, right, the UPSC can eliminate many people at recruitment stage itself. And it can give opportunity to all those who fail to qualify, but they could have done better than them. Isn't it? Because there are people who fail to qualify, they have urge to do something. It is not that all those who are not qualifying, they are not, let's say, good. Right? Rather, many a time, good people fail to qualify, bad people qualify. That's also, you know, that it happens. Anyhow, so we are not still able to predict. That way we can say that. So that is how it is always in evolution stage. This, and then the last is called की dichotomy. जब ये debate conclude हो गया यहाँ पर, स्वरा ने मान लो conclude कर दिया, तो फिर ये question कहाँ से आता है कि dichotomy debate is still alive? No. So can you make any sense out of that? Dichotomy debate is still alive. What does it mean? Basically, question was demanding to go beyond Swara because Swara concluded it, but it is opening debate again. No. So how? Why we can say it is still alive?
Society is getting complex day by day, so there are many changes.
Between politics and administration is still evolving, so the complex nature will evolve further. So the debate will still.
Like any example कि it is still evolving? Can we give any example that कि how it is still evolving?
Recent example,
बेंगलुरु तो उसमें क्या हुआ है? ऐसा नया क्या है उसमें?
politics, administration, politicians suspended that.
तो पहले भी होता था.
DGP,
तो पहले भी डीजीपी ने पुलिस कमिश्नर.
police, panel commissioner.
This. ये तो पहले भी होता था. It is not first time.
Recent.
Right, but it is not new. Yes. E-governance introduction. So how does it bring change in the relationship between politics and administration? Effective. It was supposed to be. Yes, but it is not bringing change in the relationship between politics and administration. Right. Explanation is right. Example is needed.
The area of administration is evolving further.
This. Since let's say that we can tell that politics and administration relationship remains dynamic. It is not static. It is still unfolding. This. So since it is unfolding, the full scope of relationship cannot be completely explained because of dynamic nature, including the scope of public administration, which also remains dynamic. This. Now we need good examples to tell how debate is still alive, right? So if you take in India, to Rath Prabhari, you know that. This. In 2019, before Lok Sabha elections, Government of India brought Rath Prabhari. Under Rath Prabhari, bureaucrats were supposed to go to people and showcase the achievements of the government. This. Showcase the achievements of the government to people, so that they can convince to people that government has done a lot for you. Right? Now, so do you think that they should do that?
Instead of politicians, executives are doing.
बट गवर्नमेंट को इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं था. गवर्नमेंट ने they may have given a thought over that. That's why they brought it. Right. So for government, it was not having any problem. What is problem? If bureaucrats are asked to go and tell to people that what government has achieved, the government say it does not affect neutrality. Government defends it. This. But there was public outcry. Means serious, huge public outcry was there. Perhaps inside bureaucracy also there can be resistance. Government may have, let's say, noticed. It was discontinued. Immediately it was withdrawn. This. Immediately it was withdrawn, you know that. But government per se, it has nothing to do with a particular party, etc. Take government as politics, political entity. So government as a political entity does not have problem in asking bureaucrats to go and tell to people what government has achieved, because government think that it is trying to bridge, minimize communication gap. It is not politicizing administration. But people or critics can argue that it is the work of political executive, your political leaders, it is not the work of bureaucrats. This. So that is how one aspect you can consider. So we cannot completely write the exact relationship because politics administration remain dynamic. That is how one aspect you can see this. There are other aspects. Let's say we have, let's say, network governance. In the era of network governance, there is collaboration. So there is a more collaborative role. There is no, let's say, exact segregation you can consider. This. And different other stakeholders also participate in that collaboration. Politics, administration, civil society, corporate, you know that. It's more of collaboration rather than working, let's say, either as, let's say, together, this you can say, or working for policy, making a policy execution. This team, let's say that, Team India, you may have heard, you know this. The Team India which is projected by Niti Aayog. This. The Team India as a concept for governance, you can say, where politics, administration come together. There is a multi-level of governance and relationship. So their exact relationship is still difficult to explain. This you can consider. And there is perception that there should not be political neutrality. You should know that. What is happening in US? This, and they have created This, so DOS they have created, you know this, and this is what, let's say that they are firing so many public servants, then they will appoint their public servants. Is it coming back of a spoil system?
Yes.
This which once US fought, because then they will appoint, it brings temporariness, you can consider this for the sake of efficiency. There are naysayers also, there are supporters also. In fact, it has created lots of problem in US. Even cases have been also filed in courts this against this, because it is resulting into whims and fancies also. You can fire erratically any person. Already 90,000 people have been fired. In US like country, 90,000 people have been fired this by the government. Right? हमारे यहाँ इतना firing कभी हुआ नहीं. Right? We have just removed over 200 officers in last 10 years, and that has created lots of challenge to the government. Right? Anyhow, that is how the example you can give this, that that's why we can say it is still alive. This, just few lines will write on that. Whether politics, administration, dichotomy is still alive. Since relationship between politics and administration remains dynamic, since relationship between politics and administration remains dynamic, it is yet to be fully explained. It is yet to be fully explained. Society remains divided. Society remains divided about the exact relationship. Largely in those countries which have liberal democracy, dichotomy is advocated. To maintain neutrality of administration. But in case of non-democratic countries, there is partisan administration. But they are also efficient. Like Chinese administration. Even in case of liberal democracy, the debate remains still alive. That what should be the exact relationship? Like the recent DOS creation in US. It seems It seems it is coming back of spoiled system. It is coming back of spoiled system. But it has been initiated for efficiency. It has been initiated for efficiency. 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 In case of India, in 2019, before Lok Sabha elections, the government came up with idea of Rath Prabhari, to showcase performance of government, that bureaucrats should go to people, and tell them about performance of government. There was huge public outcry. Which resulted into withdrawal of the initiative by government. Withdrawal of the initiative by government. Therefore, it can be stated that although the relationship between politics and administration is almost settled, but since scope of public administration remains dynamic, the debate remains still alive. That is what we can say this. So hope it may have helped you understand public administration, the subject we are going to deal with. This, and we finished that Wilsonian view. So you know why public administration was established, the discipline, the dichotomy, contributions, criticism, relevance, and you know that there seems to be more development after Wilson rather than what Wilson was talking. So many a time a theory per se may not be as big as debate on that theory. This, like Max Weber has given just few characteristics of bureaucracy, but debate on bureaucracy is still unending, you know that. This, so that is how it is called dynamic nature of the subject. This, and then we'll take next topic called meaning, scope, and significance of public administration. Hope you will be able to answer the questions of, they are not difficult questions. If you read Wilson, no. Have you bought your questions? Question analysis? Have you bought? Not yet. पैसा आया नहीं? Anyhow, आया तो आप क्या पिज़्ज़ा खा गए? Anyhow, So it is my way of telling all these things. So I guess ki you should buy question analysis. No, you have you brought? You should bring it also. Right. So that ki इतने बुरे दिन आ गए पब्लिक एड के.
It's only 2022 questions are available. After that it was not available.
22 के बाद किसी ने अपडेट नहीं किया. आप अपडेट कर दो. Isn't it? तो 22 तक का ही चलेगा. Right. Take it. Is it available? Not available?
PYQ compilation you're talking about?
Yes, yes. नहीं अवेलेबल होगा तो आई थिंक सॉफ्ट कॉपी इज आल्सो अवेलेबल विथ स्टूडेंट्स. नो, किसी एक आदमी को मिलेगा तो सबको मिल जाएगा. You get soft copy also, like so, or if you do not have soft copy, so although our file is a bit I think we have uploaded, but that file is not here loaded, I guess. Uploaded. We can upload this file on our portal. You can access it. So this is also till 2022. Although updated file is there, I may get in 1-2 days. We have asked to update. So because in 24 they ask a live wala question, we have already given you that how you should answer that question. Then thereafter they had asked this in 2017. This. So this, even after 130 years of its publication, Woodrow Wilson essay, the study of administration continues to have great relevance. This. So how, it is a very generic question, isn't it? It is, if we say it like generic question, we say abstract question. Abstract question is one which is very holistic type. No, so you have to write relevance, how it is relevant. This, the relevant part you can write the way we have told, the relevance part you know this. Although we have told a bit less, but entire public administration knowledge will help you answer this question by the time you are taught the subject. Those who will answer, they know how to relate it and talk about relevance. Because Wilson will come again and again when we will talk this. So you will be able to write it. No. And you can also have your answer writing practice to check that whether you are able to write, you are not able to write this, how Wilson is after 130 years relevant.
Sir, can we include the recent development of this Dodge and rebringing of spoils system into
Is it relevance of Wilson or it is undermining of Wilson? How you will tell? How you say that?
Because Sir Woodrow Wilson gave it in against of this spoil system. No? That was the
And it is a spoil system.
yes.
Right. So it is against Wilsonian, but how it is also relating to Wilson? Business like administration. Dodge is not a private entity. Elon Musk is private. Dodge is not. See, US government has the practice of having its cabinet. The Elon Musk is part of cabinet. In US there is complete separation of power. The cabinet is not part of the Congress. The cabinet members are not elected members in US. That is how Elon Musk is a cabinet, it's a member of the cabinet. They have that kind of system. In our country we have elected members. Elected members will become part of cabinet. If they are not elected, we have accommodation system also through Rajya Sabha. This, isn't it? Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, 2 times Prime Minister from Rajya Sabha. This, anyhow. So relevance, you should write. See, at this stage you will be precarious. I mean to say that कि आपका knowledge जो है अभी just evolve हो रहा है. So whatever you are going to write, it is very precarious. It will be very novice. Don't feel hurt when I use such terms, right? You are good in your academics at that level, the thing you have studied, but you have started to understand public administration. That is the difference we can say. So the question is that when we talk all these things, so when you will write yourself, whatever the knowledge you have on Wilson, you will try to write and link. Still, we do not have, let's say, entire knowledge of public administration. But when you will have knowledge of public administration, both paper 1, paper 2, then your answer will be more pragmatic, more realistic, more rational, less rhetorical. That is how you can consider. When you write Wilson, someone is saying how to write it, infrastructure part. Simply you can start with Wilson. Wilson was founder of public administration. Essay was written in 1887, which became basis for beginning of the discipline of public administration. It gave rise to emergence of public administration, a separate discipline which has gone through 6 overlapping paradigms, experiencing many theories, practices, developments. Right. Discipline was found to help administration overcome implementation challenges, as it was getting harder to run a constitution than to frame one. That is how right. Thereafter, let's say that when it was written, it was further advanced by classical approach, taken forward by behavioral approach, and then this is how public administration as a discipline has become an emerging science. This Wilson contributed, you write the contributions of the Wilson and then relate how those contributions are still relevant. Thereafter, then you have to write in essence. In essence, what that? Holistically, you will write that essay. So what was the main aim of the essay? The main aim of the essay was this. The main aim of essay was to
overcome the challenges of government inefficiency.
Yes, the main aim of essay was to help government run itself efficiently. That was the main aim. Main aim is not discipline. Why discipline was found? To run government efficiently. So essay remains relevant because still we want to run government efficiently. Because still we are not running government efficiently. That aspect. And whatever he taught means he gave contributions, those are still we have not fully achieved. We want to organize civil services on merit base. We struggle it. Administration is still not efficient. We want to reform it. That you can consider. We need to bring business-like approach. तो पता ही है आपको present government talks minimum government and maximum governance. And even DOS, how can we link DOS? Let's say because of efficiency. It does bring spoil system, but it also wants to achieve efficiency like this. Its main aim, our new way of achieving efficiency. So that way you will write that it remains relevant. and it still works as a guide for the subject called public administration. That even if public administration has, let's say, that complex relationship with politics, you can say, still the subject public administration primarily focuses on policy execution. Still it is main role. Right, policy making is its secondary role. What you are visualizing in your mind when you are preparing. Right, you are not visualizing, you are giving advice to Prime Minister. You are visualizing that what you are doing in field, isn't it? You see the problems of people and you think about yourself, how you will solve those problems, isn't it? So basically, still primarily it is about efficiency, let's say. That we will try to relate and write. So this we can consider. I guess that was the last question after so many years. So 13, let's say that. Since 2000, this is a 2013 onwards compilation. The 2013 onwards, 2 times they have asked. 2017 and 2024. It means this year they would not ask. Next year, we can see, right? Because there are so many topics, you know that. So many topics to ask questions. UPSC has its own way of asking questions. Still, it is not necessary that they will not ask this year. UPSC is UPSC, you know that. Right? U means ulta pulta also. This you should know that. So, it is ulta pulta commission. This.
Sir, any steps taken by government in recent times to strengthen the autonomy of administration?
Autonomy of administration. So basically, let's say that the government has introduced new type of empanelment system. This new type of empanelment system in which performance and integrity are taken into consideration. So that can be considered. Although the demands that we have, they have not yet been implemented, but to some extent it strengthens performance. Right. Gati Shakti is another such initiative. This Gati Shakti, which is based on hands-on governance. The Gati Shakti is nothing but a portal through which 16 ministry departments collaborate to execute projects related to railway on timely basis. And they have been given complete autonomy by the government. So then we will talk in future also when we will take topics like say memorandum of understanding which is signed between government and public sector undertakings. That also gives autonomy, right? So this way we can say, if you talk, Nicholas Henry has also given, so you can write note, let's say this, then we'll talk, because we did not tell Nicholas Henry, I wanted to keep it separate, simply because not to jargonize, because so many things result into so let's write Nicholas Henry also. Okay. Nicholas Henry also gave his view on relationship between politics and administration. Relationship between politics and administration through his this twilight zone. That is both politics and administration or independent in their domains in their domains. Politics is led by political science. Politics is led by political science. Administration is led by public administration. They do not teach the same syllabus. They do not teach the same syllabus which shows separate relationship between both. However, they have also overlapping relationship. Like political science also teaches about bureaucracy. And public administration also teaches about polity. So that's all. So that was also one model, you know that. By the time Swara model was not known, this model was dominating. But when Swara model came, so we have made it very secondary type. Just you should know that there is also a view by this. And he gives by comparing two subjects. If you take political science, if you take public administration, you read the syllabus, आप check कर सकते हैं, दोनों का अलग अलग syllabus. But some topics will be overlapping. Like say कि bureaucracy is also taught in political science. And polity is taught in public administration. So this way you can see. That is how the idea, that is how we finish. Then we'll take next, meaning, scope and significance. While dealing, we also deal public administration, business administration. So it will give a bit more clarity about administration, management, organization, public administration, business administration, how they are different, can we define, we cannot define this, that way we can say this. So when we say administration, so what it indicates when we talk administration? What comes in your mind when we say administration? Collective responsibility. Then
Serving people.
administration, serving people. Yes, yes. Execution of public policy.
Maintaining law and order.
Maintaining law and order. So, one thing can be administration, let's say. It is the operational part of the state, isn't it? Or we say that ki action part of the state, isn't it? It can be considered as institution. It is, administration is an institution, you can consider, like organization the way you have this. Like when we say Indian administration, no. When we say Indian administration, it is an institution. This, that you can consider. This. Then administering, let's say, act of administering, you know this. This, it is act of administering. The act of administering is related to, let's managing something, isn't it? Managing, we say it's governing this, or it is also known as law enforcement, isn't it? This act of administering, like let's say that ki police and traffic management. So what it is doing? It is enforcing law. That is the traditional primary role of administration. You should know that. Main role of administration. It is traditional primary role of administration. Enforcement of law. This. So already these things existed, you know that, because you can have British administration. When we may not have subject yet, when we may not have idea of serving, let's say that, we may not have idea of state you can consider, still there was administration. And that administration main role was enforcement of law. You know this, law and order administration jisko bolte hain. Your main role is going to be enforcement of law. This. ऑल्दो आपके माइंड में बहुत सारे और भी चीज़ें हैं, वो लॉ इन्फोर्समेंट नहीं है। बस किसी से पूछा जाता है कि डीएम का क्या रोल है, व्हाट यू विल डू एज डीएम, राइट दिस। सो अभी वो आइडिया आया नहीं होगा, नो आया है आइडिया, व्हाट यू आर गोइंग टू डू एज डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट, यस व्हाट यू विल डू। जिसके माइंड में आइडिया आ गया है वो आंसर दे सकता है, जिसके माइंड में अभी नहीं आया है आएगा थोड़े दिनों में, isn't it? Yes. Implementing the policy of state and central to serve the people for their welfare. Peace in society. Maintain law and order. So maintain peace, maintain law and order, that's serve welfare, all these things demand exercise of power, is it? How? तो अगर कोई बोलेगा कि आई वांट टू लेट्स से सर्व पीपल, नो तो इंटरव्यू बोर्ड का काउंटर क्वेश्चन होगा फिर, यू कैन सर्व एज सिविल सोसाइटी एक्टिविस्ट ऑल्सो, isn't it? You can do welfare to people. Why is it important to become administrator to serve people? What you will say? I want to serve with power also. Right. This basically here managing, governing, law enforcement. What do you have? The administration is also an act of exercise of this. So administration is also an act of exercise of power. This should know. Power is the very core aspect of administration. This is should know. Power remains very core aspect of administration. So that is how we can say this about. So these are all definitions which have nothing to do with definition which we are going to talk, because these are all definitions which are well understood definition. They are all well understood definitions, you know that, which we know, and they existed before the thinkers started talking about meaning of administration. Right. So that way also you can understand, they are never going to ask you to define public administration. Right. They can ask a sentence, you have to comment on that, but academically how we define, if you see. So when we say administration, so we say that it has been derived from Latin word that is called Latin word administer. This, it means to care for. Look after, let's. So basically it means, administration means management of affairs. This, it is management of affairs, we can consider. This, why we manage? To achieve common purpose. And how we manage? Through cooperation. This, because administration or management will be involved in, it will involve two or more persons. This, Act of administration is possible only when two or more persons work together. Yes, so when two or more persons work together, we told you that an organization is born, and then they have to, why that organization is created, there will be purpose, objective that you create. This, even the work that you do, task that you do, that will also have its own purpose. This, and you will not be able to manage affairs unless people cooperate and coordinate. This you should know that. Unless people cooperate and coordinate, you will not be able to manage your task. Right. In class also there is act of administration. Otherwise teaching is not possible. So you and we are cooperating. Right. You are cooperating by not asking questions. Right. Isn't it? So otherwise, suppose what you say that you become rigid on, first you answer this question, then you right, move to next topic. So फिर problem हो जाएगा. Right. This anyhow, you say that dictation should be, speed should be reduced. This, that you can consider. So this is what you can say that you can face problem, but you are tolerating it and cooperating. This because there is common purpose. Right. Common purpose is you want to learn public administration, we want to teach public administration. This. अगर वो कॉमन पर्पज नहीं होता तो जैसे तो गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स में होता है, प्राइवेट स्कूल में तो बच्चों को डरा के रखते हैं वो लोग दिस, बट गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में बच्चे कोऑपरेट नहीं करते हैं. नो दैट. कॉलेज में भी ऐसा ही होता है, isn't it? कुछ कॉलेज में भी ऐसे ही होता है, तो फिर देयर इज नो टीचिंग. नो दैट. गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स, गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज, कुछ कॉलेज है या बहुत सारे ऐसे कॉलेज है, एक्सेप्ट प्रीमियर कॉलेजेस यू कैन से दिस. सो व्हेन यू डू नॉट कोऑपरेट, सो देयर विल नॉट बी टीचिंग. दिस, the cooperation, coordination, let's say they are very important in managing any such affairs. Traffic rules you cannot, कैसे होता है आप छोटे शहरों में जानते हो, ठीक है, कोई मानेगा ट्रैफिक रूल? कोई नहीं माना. So since people do not cooperate, there is very difficult to enforce traffic rules. Right. But generally in big cities, administration has tried to bring, let's say different ways of enforcement, including let's say that strict enforcement of violation of traffic rules. This plus it appeals to people also. So both way, let's say the people are cooperating. Let's by adhering to traffic rules, they are cooperating to administration. This and traffic rules also आपके सेंस में ये आता है कि ट्रैफिक रूल अगर स्मूथ होगा तो ये सबके इंटरेस्ट में है. It is in the interest of all this, but that kind of thing has not come in small cities. Let's say town B, town C, etc. You can consider this. So that is how you can consider that कि common purpose, cooperation, and act of exercise of authority. There will be act of this, you manage, let's say this is the management of affairs. The administration has authority to manage, and then let's say this is how, let's say it is common purpose, people will cooperate. So there is a very general definition of administration that when this is how I can write. So it is defined in the term administration is defined. The term administration is defined when two or more persons cooperate and coordinate to achieve common purpose, to achieve common purpose. It is called an act of administration. It is called an act of administration. Change paragraph. It means this act can be found. It means this act can be found. Found in public and private context. That schools, hospitals, project sites, big corporate organizations, and offices of government. It means act of administration is common to both public and private organizations, big and small organizations. However, the term administration has a special connotation. And it is largely applied in the context of government. It is largely applied in the context of government. Right? Basically, let's say that anywhere, it means you can apply anywhere. When you can apply anywhere, it is called abstract. When definition is applied, direct is applied, we say it as very abstract. This or abstract, another name is called generic. Generic is very general, you can consider this. Very general means anywhere, public, private, big, small, wherever you find two more people working together, cooperating, coordinating, that is an act of administration. Then, but largely when we use the term administration, so what we apply? We apply in the context of government. You should know that, because in private sector, what you talk? Management. Right. In private sector, we let's say MBA program. बट इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? मैनेजमेंट. बट जिसमें मैनेजमेंट कहीं है नहीं. मास्टर इन बिजनेस एप्लीकेशन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. मास्टर इन बिजनेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. कहाँ है मैनेजमेंट? देयर इज ऑल्सो टर्म एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. देयर इज ऑल्सो टर्म दिस administration, but what we say? It is known as management. This, it is called management, you can say this, but government we use more of administration. There is difference between management and administration, we will talk later on this. But in general, let's say administration will be common to both, be it public organization, private organization. A big organization is small organization. That we can consider. But when we add public to that, isn't it? So when we have administration, it has its own definition. But when you add it public, and when you add it, then its meaning changes. This, the public is related to government, and private is related to this. So then government, how it will be defined? Management of government affairs. This, or you can say that management of public affairs. This, and this will be considered management of private affairs, or let's say business affairs. This, but these are again, let's say, general definitions. They are general definitions. You can know that it is management of government affairs, management of private affairs. This, how, let's say that thinkers will define this. Thinkers, if you take, so first thinkers have given definition of administration also, and they have given definition of public administration, both. This, they have defined administration also, they have defined public administration also. Like if you take Wilson, the Wilson will define, like this is action part of the government. The most visible side of the government. This, and what he will define this public administration is detailed, and systematic application of law. This, this, if you read, be it printed notes given or any source of definition, they will give you a number of definitions which are not needed. Just you should be familiar कि इतने सारे definition है. Then you should know 1-2 general definitions which will tell that कि what exactly. Like कि public administration is management of public affairs. Generally it is asked in interview, define public administration. तो you are in a state of confusion कि किसका बोलना है. If it is not pre-decided, so what will happen? State of confusion. उनको भी पता है कि there will be state of confusion in mind of the candidates. They know it well. इसलिए कि there is no one definition. This, so anyhow, so when thinkers define academically, general way administration is nothing but it's a coordinated activity of two or more persons to achieve common objective. But even act of administration, when Wilson is defining, so what he says, it is the action part of the government. It is the most visible side of the government. This action part, we told you that operational part, right? So now it is being defined in the context of government. This definition is in the context of government, let's say that. When he says this, it is context of government you can consider like this. And when we say public administration, there is change in definition when we talk public administration. It is detailed and systematic application of law. If you read definitions, let's say by several thinkers, so you will find that Dimmock and Dimmock also will find this. Then you can have also L.D. White. You can have Pfeiffer, let's say that. So there can be other thinkers if you read. They will have one common thing. All will have one common thing in definition. They will say that it is execution of public law. What they will define public administration as? Execution of law. So, are you able to relate? कुछ link मिल रहा है आपको? Wilson and definition. This basically when public administration as a discipline was established, that time there was dichotomy. So definitions also dominated based on dichotomy era. The dichotomy was talking about separation, and dichotomy is saying that administration role was policy execution. Therefore, most of the definitions of that time, they will define public administration as nothing but an act of policy execution. This is how they will define public administration as act of policy execution. This is what you can say. Because that time Wilson talked that politics was separate, administration was separate. But can we say that it is a very comprehensive definition of public administration? The term public administration, when we talk, the term public administration, it is not a comprehensive definition, this. Thereafter, let's say if you talk 1940s, 50 onwards, so other dimensions were also added in the meaning of public administration. So it was a time, let's say, dominated by dichotomy. The meanings, if you talk, meanings, let's say by 1940s, it was, let's say, more of execution part. Execution of public law. But then if you talk 1960s, that onwards, the dichotomy was rejected. So when dichotomy was rejected, the policy formulation was also added. This means public administration, meaning which should also include policy formulation. Then that time, let's say, they did not distinguish public administration from business administration. There was a time that public administration was considered synonymous with business administration. Henry Fayol will teach, he says that we cannot have two sciences. one for public administration, another for business administration. There must be only one science. That will be science of administration. Yes. So there were thinkers who consider that the business administration and public administration both are synonymous. Even business-like administration of Wilson has also been interpreted in that way, you can say. Okay, this Bryan and Fry. I think I am correct. I will correct it. This Bryan, I think it is white. Yes, it is Bryan. They have written a book called Mastering Public Administration. Right. Mastering Public Administration. In that book, they have told that Wilson did not distinguish public administration from business administration. Very clearly they have written. Wilson considered public administration synonymous with business administration. Although their view is not acceptable, but they have written. The different thinkers can have different interpretations. This Mastering Public Administration is the best book on public administration, understanding certain aspects of public administration. This, but you should not buy that. हमारा काम प्रसादन प्रसाद से चल जाएगा. Right. This is how. तो लेकिन बहुत ही it's very the best book ever. Let's say we can find. It is not, I guess, कि it is not a common book also. This. And it is not that cost effective also. Right. Its price is MRP is 5,000 around. This. तुम्हारे यहाँ फोटो स्टेट ही काफ़ी है, isn't it? वो भी बहुत ही पॉकेट टाइप की बुक है, बहुत बड़ा बुक नहीं है वो. Cost is 5,000. This. Anyhow, so what we are trying to help you understand is business administration also, public administration also. We are trying to explain you that meaning. So basically, let's say that policy making was added. We'll show you that how public administration was defined. It means that they also added that public administration was different from business administration. It was different from business administration. This, that you can say. And public administration is not only, let's say, execution part, action part. Public administration means many other things also. You know this. Public administration is also a, can we say it is also a? It is also a discipline, a subject. Right. And that subject is interdisciplinary. Do you understand interdisciplinary? देखो पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का ओरिजिनल कुछ भी नहीं है. Right. सारा let's say कि assembled है. Right. The way you have assembled, isn't it? The public administration is an assembled subject. This. They will teach you that also, how it is assembled one. Right? So it is derived from political science, management science, sociology, psychology, law, this, that, etc. This. So one day we will teach that wow, public administration as a subject itself lacks recognition. Right? We have opted a subject which lacks recognition. You know that I told you कि Delhi University में बहुत सालों से fight कर रहे हैं कि हमारा सेपरेट डिपार्टमेंट बनवा दो. बजट सैंक्शन नहीं हो रहा होगा, एजेंट इट, या पॉलिटिकल साइंस वाले लॉबी कर रहे हैं कि नहीं, सेपरेट डिपार्टमेंट नहीं होना चाहिए. दिस इट इज़ नॉट टॉट एट ग्रेजुएशन लेवल. वाई इट इज़ नॉट टॉट एट ग्रेजुएशन लेवल? क्या प्रॉब्लम है? पढ़ाना चाहिए. वैसे बहुत सारे ह्यूमैनिटीज़ if optionals are removed from UPSC, so humanities will lose their, that relevance. कौन पढ़ेगा फिर? Anyhow, तो UPSC को यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को अवार्ड देना चाहिए, राइट, ह्यूमैनिटीज़ को प्रमोट करने के लिए. This is what. Anyhow, so let's come to this. It is, let's say, discipline also. This. So any definition that you define right, that should include at least 4 components. This execution, policy making, different from this, interdisciplinary in nature, and it also aims to serve people. You told that, some people told that, serving people in it, aims to serve. Objective, let's say this. So, there is IGNOU, let's say that key. File you can download if you want to read simple way, lucid way, how definitions etc. is given. So this is how, let's say, meaning and scope and importance given. So they give all basic things you can read. I will show you how there is a definition which shows all those 4 components. This. Yes, yes. कोड की ज़रूरत नहीं है, आप मीनिंग, स्कोप, सिग्निफिकेंस लिखोगे आ जाएगा, राइट. गूगल, राइट, यू गूगल इट, राइट. यूनिट 1 लिखा है दिस, राइट. Anyhow, so let's see how he defines. Since it is a big definition, we cannot dictate. Difficult to, let's say that, memorize this. So that's why we show it. So how he defines this. So you know that what he said, a broad ranging, amorphous. This is how I will find this. And combination of theory and practice. It's still not complete. आप इतना भी लिख दोगे तो बहुत है, outstanding. Then its purpose is to promote superior understanding of government and its relationship with society. It governs. ये क्या है? This is the discipline part. Right? Discipline helps in understanding the superior relationship between government and the governed. This now. Encourage public policy, more responsive to social needs. Right. It includes public policy also. And public policy should be responsive to social needs, means solving the problems of society. To discipline, it brings public policy. This, then let's say that what it says, to institute managerial practices attuned to this, and then deeper human requisites of citizenry. What it says, managerial, it incorporates business like also, but it should be attuned to effectiveness and human citizenry. It should be attuned to public orientation. This, isn't it? So it is also, let's say, execution side, policy side, discipline side. This. So there can be a definition of public administrations. Just see how this definition is different from past definitions. This past definition we have not shown. So let me show that. Before that, so Nicholas Henry, there is Negro and Negro definition also we generally tell. It is comprehensive. Yes. This is the another comprehensive definition. So what they say, it is cooperative group effort that we told, except cooperation. Then it covers 3 branches. That is how the institutional aspect, activity, importance, policy formulation. Part of this different from private administration, associated with private groups, etc. This then in sum up, this is how you will find this. List is very huge, right? But let me tell you the simple definition. Okay, when they started defining public administration, that is how Woodrow Wilson defines. Then what he says, LD White, enforcement of public policy. The enforcement of public policy is execution part. Let's take this. Getting thing done, this is how we have told it. They also tell that this government done efforts accomplish their task. If you take this Simon definition, it will also speak in that way. This art and science of management applied in public affairs. This. Yes, yes. Right. So, आप चाहते हो ये सब अवॉइड करके हमें जल्दी बता दो कि बेहतर क्या है. Right. It is important to understand, right, more than knowing one definition. Right? Understanding is more important. This you should know that. Because any definition you tell, it is acceptable. This. Because many definitions are there, anyone you can take up. Right? The public administration is a discipline and practice which is concerned about running the affairs of the government efficiently. Right? It is a generic definition. Right? You cannot take any one definition. Because if you take Wilson, it is only execution. Dichotomy era, all definitions are execution oriented, narrow definition. After dichotomy era, big definitions. You cannot remember. If you remember, you cannot tell. Right. Ultimately, you have to take a generic definition. This what public administration is. That is how it is. Still, matter does not end here. Right. Finally, towards end, you know that Minnebrook conference we have written. Minnebrook conference went on giving another definition of public administration after so many years. So many years means there is no, let's say, time, but largely these are the definitions of 50s, 60s, 70s you can consider. But Minnebrook third conference was held in 2008 and they gave one definition which has also been asked by UPSC. UPSC has asked that question, means definition itself has question. So that way we can consider like, so then the question is how to define. So we have to have a broader definition, at least 4 elements you should have. When we say the term public administration, when we use term public administration, it does not connote any one thing. It connotes minimum 4 things. That one, it is a discipline. Another that it is institution. Another that it is a process, means it is concerned with public activities. That you can say. And next is it is different from private administration. This. So that way, let's say that we can define when we define public administration. This. That is how we can talk on this. So let's write on that. So we were writing dichotomy era, then we added like this. So let's. The meaning of public administration. The meaning of public administration has undergone changes. has undergone changes. That is, it does not have any one definition. It does not have any one definition. As it has been defined in the light of its time. It has been defined in the light of its time. Light of its time. Right. For instance, first, during dichotomy era, its meaning was dominated by execution of public policy. However, due to further changes in public administration, that first rejection of dichotomy. Next, clarity on its relation with business administration. Next, complex nature of environment. The term public administration started getting defined more comprehensively and in general it represents following four components. First, it is a discipline with interdisciplinary perspective. Next, it is a process or activities. Concerned with managing public affairs. It is a profession. That is, those who do job as administrator, it has got a distinct recognition. Next, it is action side of the government. That is, as an institution, it is part of the political executive. It is part of the political executive. Political executive. Change the paragraph. Change paragraph. Based on this comprehensiveness, Negro and Negro have given following definition of public administration. Definition which consists of first, a cooperative group effort, next, as a process, it covers all the activities of three branches of state. Next, it is concerned with both policy making and policy execution. Next, it is different from business administration. Therefore, in general, the term public administration can be defined as it is a discipline and practice. Which is concerned about running the affairs of government efficiently. Running the affairs of government efficiently. Right. So that is how you can take. If you want to take away any definition कि क्या होना चाहिए, तो this one you can take. It is a discipline and practice, which is concerned about running the affairs of the government efficiently. This. Even if you don't want to tell, simple you can say public administration is concerned about running the affairs of the government efficiently. That will also do. This, no need to tell discipline and practice, right? Still, let's say that then the question is why it lacks one definition. It's problems with its definition that we have told that. Before taking problems, so basically let's say when we take public administration as a term, so it does not have one meaning. Broadly it has two meanings. One, that it is a subject. Second is that it is an institution. Institution means practice, let's say. That you want to join this institution. You want to become public administrator. This is how. And subject will guide you as an administrator. It is discipline as well as institution. As an institution, it is the operational part of the government. Yes, that is what we define it. But still, can we say it is acceptable definition? Different thinkers have different definitions. So why there is lack of one definition? Can we define whether there can be a universal definition? If you have any universal definition, then it can have problem. This, when we define, many a time we should not define. Should we define it? There is a person called, he has given definition, but he himself says, right, any definition of public administration in 1 and 2 lines would result into mental paralysis. That's, they say that. What is it? It will result into mental paralysis. So in fact, even when you face tension, you are not all alone. He also faced tension while defining. Right? Because he says that there will be mental paralysis. Right? This, what exactly should be the definition? Because if you say one, the other is left. If you add other, the one is left. Something will be left. It will not be able to fully define the term. This, its meaning has also kept changing, you know this, that you can say. Why? Because it remains very dynamic. It remains very dynamic, let's say. As a subject, it remains very dynamic. Why? We will deal in paradigms when we will tell. So basically, if you take public administration, let me show that. Public administration was part of political science. Yes, it got separated from political science. But then it came close to management science. It got separated from political science, but it became more close to management science. This you should know that. And this management science dominated public administration till 1940s. Because most of the theories were from management science. Taylor scientific management. This, it was in the field of economics, management rather than public administration. Let's say the two thinkers who gave theory of public administration, first two thinkers, Taylor and Henry Fayol, both were engineers. Right? If you are an engineer opting public administration, so you have not done anything wrong. Right? This, so that is how we will find that they were both engineers. Anyhow, so it came close to management science. फिर realize होता है कि no, we should not be so close to management science. Yes, because public administration is about serving people. Right? That is how, let's say, 1960s comes, and then NPA comes. NPA, let's say, there is one new public administration approach, and it tried to bring public administration close to political science. PA tried to bring close to pol science, let's say this, but its effects were very short-lived. Then soon, that time, soon, let's say you had 1960s again, public choice approach, new public management. Let's say by name itself, right, it came close to again management science. Again, let's say became close to management science. This. So further down the line development, we'll find this. There are so many other sciences influencing public administration. Let's say in 1990s, you'll find this. It came under influence of many other disciplines. One day we'll tell you that many other disciplines have also influenced. Sociology has also influenced. Psychology has also influenced. In fact, traditionally also, the sociology, psychology, others, let's say you can consider sciences influencing. Even philosophy, let's say that. Anthro, etc., whatever, let's say, subjects you have. Then let's say what should be its role, that is related to subject. Similarly, related to role, let's say that role, what role it should play, that is related to discipline. Discipline related, its influence, but let's say role, what role it should play. So first you say that policy, then you say policy formulation also you can say this. Then regulation. Regulation also we say this. It is regulator, regulating, facilitating, you will find this. Then adjudication. Public administrations are let's say adjudicators also, isn't it? This they enjoy, they are given adjudicatory powers, CAT, SAT, etc. You will find that it's tribunals जिसको बोलते हैं, right? This, and then you will find this. Let's say that. So policy implementation, policy formulation, regulation, this adjudication, plus many other things you can add here. Let's say. This, the role has also not remained. Right. Rather, there is emphasis that there should be less minimum government, maximum governance. Right. The government should be minimal, governance should be maximal. So when we talk minimum government, maximum governance, this is M2, G2, we say that this, which is our, let's say, focus. As of now, government should be less, people should be more. So these things also keep changing. The can meaning remain the same? Not at all. This meaning will not remain the same. Role is also changing, discipline is also changing. This, if you define anything, so tomorrow it may not be right, relevant. This, तो एक बार बात होती है कि all, let's say, administration should be separated from politics. और एक टाइम आता है कि administration is politics. वो definition मिलेगा तो I will show you. Paul Appleby defines. How he defines. I think इसमें है नहीं Paul Appleby का. That is not given because all sources don't mention. Otherwise I can show I am saying, but it will reinforce what he was trying to say. So he said that all act of administration is nothing but politics. Yes. He will see politics and administration interwoven, not in separation. Why? Because as we have told that this act of administration, act of politics is act of administration. But they will have a different perspective. You should know he was critic to merit system. UPSC merit system. He was critic to CAG also. He will come later on, you will understand what he was trying to say. This, the merit that is being determined is scholastic examination, इसको बोलते हैं. It is scholastic examination. Scholastic examination is, you are given a syllabus, you master the syllabus, you appear in examination, you qualify, you are called as meritorious. Right. To which he was critic. Because you know that it is not meritorious. Rather it is mastering examination. Although हम इसको still बोलते हैं कि one of the toughest competitive examinations in the world. Yes. Anyhow, so he would be critic to that because you know that कि many of them who are recruited, what they do. This, you can consider like this. Anyhow, so what we are left with? So we are left with this, that it lacks definition. Why it lacks definition? Because of dynamic nature. But then the question comes, should we not define the subject? Even if it is dynamic nature, but should we not define? Not defining is also a weakness. Right. If a subject which cannot be defined, can it be subject at all? This is how the concern critics also say that if you cannot define a subject, then let's say, can it be considered as a subject at all? This is how. So finally, Minobrook gave one definition. This and Weldo belonged to Minobrook first conference. So Weldo was founder of New Public Administration, right, which emerged in the backdrop of conference called Minobrook, which was held in US. Minobrook is a place in one university, let's say that. There the conference was held. Yes. That is how we say Minobrook conference. And it gave rise to New Public Administration. And he was a critic that we should not define. But Minobrook third conference went on defining public administration. It shows that there can be universal definition of public administration. But the definition they gave that even remains very generic and vague. That also you should know that. We just will tell you while dictating what is that definition, but this is what we have to summarize in meaning parts, so let's write on that. Right. Difficulty in defining public administration or weaknesses of public administration. It has been found that there is no one universal definition. And its meaning has changed. Its meaning has undergone changes. Dwight Weldo even remarked that public administration should be left undefined. Any attempt to define public administration, right, in one, two lines would result into mental paralysis. Therefore, due to dynamic nature of subject, it has become difficult to define However, Minobrook third conference, MBC 3 also we speak in short, went on defining public administration. As collective, socially embedded process of socially embedded process of socially embedded process of collective dialogue and relationship, collective dialogue and relationship to promote human flourishing for all, to promote human flourishing for all. Human flourishing for all. This, so, does it make any sense? Are you able to understand what is the meaning of this? Right. ऐसा डेफिनेशन दे दो कि किसी को समझ में नहीं आए. This is so collective dialogue and action. Right. This socially embedded process. Socially embedded process means it is, let's say that strongly linked to its environment. This the socially embedded process means it is linked to its environment. Collective dialogue, it is, let's say, that's more of inclusive, multidisciplinary action, this is related to objective, this is related to process, this is related to disciplinary guide.
डेफिनेशन में एक्शन तो लिखेंगे.
What we have written? Collective
Dialogue and relationship to promote human.
relationship and action. Yes, collective dialogue, relationship and action. This the socially embedded process. The socially embedded process is something, let's say that environment, let's say it is related to environment. Public administration belongs to its own environment, its own ecology. So this to some extent can be considered universal definition of public administration. Right. Let's talk that. Right. First time it happened that public administration was defined. Public administration was defined by any such platform which can be considered universally accepted definition. Universally accepted definition. And also a contemporary definition of public administration. and also a contemporary definition of public administration. Contemporary definition of public administration. This. So officially, academically, we finished that called meaning. Although still we have not finished it, we have to still talk the relationship between administration, management, organization, relationship between public and private administration, how they are similar, how they are different. Then it will help you understand clear about what public administration and business administration, or let's say those things. And then we'll take about evolution of public administration, its current status. So you read evolution, etc. from printed notes. This, have you started reading? This, read from printed notes, because now Wilson, Prasad and Prasad will not help you. Okay. Prasad and Prasad will help you again in chapter 2nd. Right. Meanwhile, you have to depend on printed notes, or you can download like IGNOU, let's say that PDF files, which can give you more simple way. But you don't need to write all those definitions. Right. They are not needed. You need to know one generic definition, and you need to understand that why there are different types of definitions. That is all. So we'll finish today here. Let's take tomorrow, right?